So, welcome to Dave's Knives. If you're joining us for the first time, or it's the first time you're watching this video, or if it's the first time it's being watched, welcome, one or two. In the last little thing I did that thing on the karambit and building a knife that I will show the final results of, and it'll be a separate little video that's going to, sort of go into that series. But what I'm now doing is I'm doing my first mosaic pattern Damascus. So I like making Damascus. I think it's a langlet. It was sort of the first thing that got me stuck into knife making. My first Damascus I made in a steel sort of dog's water bowl, about yay big, that I filled with plaster of Paris, put I think a Doom bottle, or when your insecticide spray bottles inside the center, with two holes, into which I'd inserted two of those little blow things that you get from cash, what Builder's Warehouse or Home Depot, but those little click butane, and not map gas, just those two little things. And I made my first little Damascus knife with a ball peen hammer and a piece of railway track that I managed to find. And I still have it today, so I'll show you one day. I'll do a thing where I go where I've come from, because if you saw my first knives, fuck me, you'd laugh. They are so fucking bad. I mean, they are butt ugly and shit, but they're cool and they're a great reminder. Anyway, so I've done a lot of Damascus, a lot of it random pattern, a lot of some twist pattern, not a lot, but a few twist pattern. I've done LSD, which is my little thing called Little Small Dots, and I'll show you that in other knives. But this is essentially what I made as my first sort of mosaic pattern, because the last time I did a mosaic pattern, I couldn't get the tiles right. And if you don't get the tiles right, you just end up with a lot of straight lines. So that didn't really fucking work. So this one, it has worked, because I've done a quick test actually. I'm not going to do it right now with you. If you want to go and have a look at my Instagram, Dave Moore Knives, or David Moore Knives. But yes, I'm going to be doing a Bowie in that sort of style. I like the long sloping sort of, clip. I find it a bit more elegant. It's realistically, no one's going to be popping this on their leg, to wander around with. And if they are, get the fuck out of their way, pal. But yeah, so welcome to the journey. I'm just going to hog off some material, so I've got a fair whack to take off over here. But what I'm doing is I've learned my lesson very, very, very well, that you can't put steel back on. So I'm taking off a little bit, and then I'll have a look at the design, see how it feels and looks to me. As you can see, there's a fair whack to remove stock-wise. And so your next scene of footage is going to be me going against my Charles Swart grinder. Look at that, Charles, eh? Look at that. I just slotted that in there for you. Anyway, Charles has made me a grinder that's just absolutely fucking superb. You can put a gin and tonic on it while you grind, and it doesn't spill. Can't beat that. I'm sorry, I don't care what you say. So yeah, let's get going. Just a quick note to the guys who are watching this. My idea with this whole thing with YouTube is, obviously you can watch the first video I did that explains it, and I would say, look for the link above. I have no fucking idea how to do that, okay? So this is recorded on a phone, and I'm just going to be me, because I'm not really that keen on, I don't really need to make a living out of this, and this is for me is more entertainment and more about, as I said, if someone gives me great advice, and it's fucking fantastic, because I wouldn't have gotten it anywhere else. And I kind of like the idea of it just being raw, where mistakes are there, you learn as you go along. I love a really good production video, but I'm not watching a golf channel, you know what I mean? And I kind of want to keep these to 15 minutes. And I think the worst case scenario is you will be amused, and you probably want to, share, like, subscribe, all that other stuff. But for the very simple reason that you want to see whether or not I've burnt my shop down, set my hair on fire. Only done it once. It wasn't that bad. And, burnt dustbins, which I think I'm on number 4. I have zero mechanical or I've got no sort of hands-on experience in manufacturing or anything from before I started making knives. So first and foremost, that's really important to remember. I come from a background where I started a company called 3DC, and it stands for 3 dumb cunts, because there were 3 people at the table. Subsequently, 2 cunts got clever, and there's just 1 DC left. So that's kind of the way I like to live my life. It's just, it's for the amusement, because you don't get to take shit with you, but you do get to leave memories. So the things that I can possibly get wrong, like on so many levels, I don't know if you're supposed to keep your 48 kilo gas bottle next to your oxyacetylene, next to your MIG gas, which is about 15 feet from my air compressor tank, which is about 10 feet from my other 19 kilo gas bottle. For those in the States, kilos and pounds work in the following way. Kilograms are used the world over. Pounds are only used with you. I have no fucking idea how to convert it. It's 450 pounds or something, or inches, half of 15 millionth or whatever. And that's just for the fat electrician, I swear. Please, someone send this to him. Your system sucks. Anyway, the long and the short of it is it's going to amuse you, hopefully, because that's kind of what I want to keep it. And I want to keep it as raw as possible, because it's kind of what I was looking for a little bit on YouTube for a while now. Not production level where I can see cameramen moving in the background. And I kind of looked at the Strad man the other day and realized I kind of like his stuff because he's still doing it with a, what do you call those little selfie stick thingies? Well, whatever he's doing it with, holding a camera. I don't know how the fuck he does it. But yeah, so that's kind of how I'm going to keep it as much as possible. So if it bores the crap out of you, I'm so sorry. And if it doesn't, well, you know, have fun. Let's just see where we go. I'm going to start hogging material and you can watch sparks go. It comes with 3 sound effects. That's great. It's great fucking value. Make no mistake. Wow. It's hot quite quick with this steel thing. So, I'll tell you funny stories as we go through this journey. But my wife and I have got a great relationship because she teases me pretty much all the time, and I try to set myself up for it. But I did say to her the other day, babe, I've taken the internet world by storm. And she went, what do you mean? And I said, I've got about 1,000 people on Instagram that think I'm an idiot. And she went, no, my baby, there's many, many more than that. Yeah. So that's kind of the idea with the design. That long story. I think Carl Royer did that. In fact, I'm not saying I think. I know fucking Carl Royer did it because I went to go and look at his design. Thanks, Carl. Look at that humility. But that's where I wanted to go or sort of head towards. I'm a little tired of making things like Bowie knives. I must be honest. I'm not really like massively enthused with this. I need to get my sort of, groove going or something. I need some Jerry Maguire, show me or give me the, I don't know, whatever it was. But the pattern's very tit. I'm quite enjoying looking, I've done a couple of test stitches and how interesting it is, you go deeper into the steel, how it becomes, it morphs a little bit. It changes. It becomes, I don't know, different, cleaner, neater, tight, whatever it is. Unless you've got a big fucking cold shut, in which case this will become a Tanto or a very nice toothpick. Feel free to DM me if you are interested in purchasing this. If you are purchasing from the States, ours is rands, which means for like $1 you could buy half of South Africa. So I'll charge $1.50. But yeah, I'd like to see if this is a viable sort of thing to do as well. Hopefully people do buy these things. Because our market's pretty tough because you don't ever make your money back making knives. It has to be a passion. You've got to be an idiot. So otherwise you've got to be Carl Royer. Where does he get the gold from? And like, when does it get delivered? Mondays, Tuesdays? Anyone want to share? Ooh. That gets warm fast. So
kind of liking that. You can't sort of feel this, you know. I don't know what that section over there is called. Seriously, this is why you should follow me, because I'm so technically fucking, adjusted. That section over there, I think, is right at about, I would say, an inch or so, around about just shy of an inch, and then into a hidden tang. The handle, as they say, always plan your knives carefully, and if you do watch this channel, you will understand that I plan my knives absolute with fuck all, zero. It's a failing. My plan usually starts and then it morphs, and then I think I have a better plan, and then it doesn't look like anything that I started with, but it makes me happy. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking of a horn handle, sort of rounded, or just oval, very, very simple, and then a butt cap stock thingy. What material to use? No idea. I'm so far from that. Why am I even bothering? All right, I'm going to make this a little bit cleaned up, and then I'm going to have a look what dimensions I want to put this thing to, because right now I think that might be a little thick for any fucking knife. Unless we make a chopper. No. Keep with the Bowie. See what I mean? I've only just recently learned to pause the videos, by the way. I used to stop them, and then I've got a mate who's trying to click them all together. So now I go, pause, resume. Pause. I think I'm very clever. Born before technology, that's my problem. So currently, if I can hold this here, because it's only a little bit hot, I'm sitting with, on the back end here, 5, 6, 7, 8 mils at the back, and not too many less at the front, 6 mils in the front, and I kind of think I want to do about 6 mils, 6.5 mils at the spine, at the back, at the handle where it joins, and I would say I want my front end to be a tenth of that, you know what I mean? So, but we'll distill that as we go down, as we grind. But otherwise, now it's just hogging off material time. I mean, I think I'll come back to you when I've got some material hogged off and we're going to the sort of bevel side of it, and then we can discuss what we're going to do on the bevel. And when I say we, I mean me, because you're doing fuck all, realistically. But if you're here in moral support, great, considering I made this and then you watched it, so the moral support's also in arrears. Just doesn't seem to make any difference. Cool. By the way, you'll often see me refer to the technical aspects of this knife making business, and you got to keep things exact. So this eye is my vernier, and this one is my spirit level. And I've worked out if I keep my hand like this, then if I do that, then that's 90 degrees, like that, and that's just a helpful hint if you don't have one of those square things. But I have one of them. And one day I will learn to use half this crap. Because some days I just, get excited and you go, oh, I must have one of those. What is it? I have no idea, but I must have one. Every knife maker will know that feeling. Don't lie. Just go, like, ho, 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 yes, yeah. Okay, so this is where I get really confused, and because I just don't know how to do it. And some people say, oh, it's simple as, no. Dude, if you don't know how to do something, you just don't know how to do it. It doesn't make you an idiot. It just means you don't know yet. My thought process, and bear with me while I write with a permanent marker on my tile. Let's try and find something less permanent, David. Yes. Okay. So my thought process is to do something in regards to the guard to look like this. So, how good can you guys see? Let me bring this a little closer. Sorry for the wobble and the shake and all the other stuff that's going to happen for about 30 seconds or so. Right. Almost, Dave. Almost. Right. There we go. Tally-ho. Just don't feel like you're part of the action. How do oaks do this with cameras when you've got no space to work because the camera's right there? Okay, here we go. So that's kind of where I want to set my line, where my tang is going to go out here, along those lines. And I'll be putting in a hardened steel bolt that will come out to the pommel. And I'm thinking along the lines of something like this. Now, this is the part I don't know. So bear with me because I'm also scribbling in a very unusual fashion here where I can't see what I'm doing. Well, I can't really feel what I'm doing here. So when you forge something like this, I want to use raw time for this. I've got to make this area here stand proud and square here, and then these have got to rotate this way and be thin up and that way, if that makes any sense to you. So it's got to kind of look like this from the front, right? So one coming forward, one going backwards, and then the knife obviously in here, you know, sort of coming down through there. And how do you forge that out of there? Or is it stock removal? I'll see if I can find a video. But yeah, that's kind of my idea. And then obviously the handle will go something along the lines of, and look at us, we're doing all this planning together. It's just so cool. And I want to keep it really nice and simple. So I'm thinking horn, pommel nut of some sort. Yeah, and keep it nice and simple. Keep this sort of not too thick, I would say, probably a centimeter. So in inches, that's 4 1/millionths and a third, and 0.6 thousandths and a fifth. But yeah, I want to keep it sort of like that. I want a sleek, long, soft design. So put something in the comments below, and if there's only one person watching, Mom, thanks very much. And Mom, put a comment like, my boy, you're so clever, make it out of steel. Okay, let's keep going. So just to let you know what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using my bevel file guide, whatever it is, file guide, and just so that I can sort of bring the tang into the position I want it to be. I was about to use my angle grinder to sort of cut out, you know, a millimeter or two down. And then I realized, yeah, you know, that's gone wrong before. So why don't we just do some gentle filing, you know, that thing that we can do with 8 millimeters of steel and, you know, all day to play with. Although, strange enough, I will share this with you, you know, as a little personal aside. I hear some guys say, oh, I love hand sanding. It's, you know, it's quite mesmerizing and, you know, you can get into this state of blah, 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 blah. I fucking hate it because when I hand sand to finish something, not so that it's a long all-day event. But I do like filing for some reason. Does that make me like a foot fetish oak? I don't know. It's a concern. We need to keep an eye on that. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm sort of going to bring this in over here about, I'd say, 1.5 millimeters, 4 1/1000ths, and over there another millimeter. And I've got to make sure this is all straight and lined up. So yeah, ow, that hurts. It's lined up, or it will be by the time it gets there, once I've hit it a couple of times, or just loosened it. Some days. Aha. Yeah, that's about right. Perfect. It's just how I wanted it. Right, so I'm going to go and do some filing, and I'll come and bring you back the finished product. So I'm taking a brief moment from the filing, because 8 mils of steel is pretty fucking a lot of steel. Anyway, I should have done this on the grinder, but the problem is I got Charles's original grinder, and the design doesn't accommodate, you know, having enough movement around your plate, or your face plate, or your platen, to be able to push things, you know, where they can sit behind it. And he's changed that on his new designs, but that doesn't help me fucking anything because I've got the old one. But yeah, so I'm going to carry on hand filing. But just by the way, if you do like this grinder, Charles Swart, I'll find out what his Instagram is, but you look for him on Instagram, Charles Swart, and he'll pay for shipping anywhere in the world if you just mention my name. So what has been roughly, sorry, I'm watching golf. So what has roughly taken me about 40 minutes of fucking around, because I decided I'd use my mill because that would be easier. Anyway, so I've cut the shoulders in to my tang, and I have a feeling they're going to disappear when I take off 2 mils of steel. And then I'm going to be back at square one going, oh, for fuck's sakes, really? Yep, more than likely. Yep, next one is to start hooking off some of the material just on thickness, and then, yeah, give some thinking to some other things. We'll get back. All right, let's carry on. Right, time to mark up my bevels. Now, everybody says just use black marking coating, which I would do, bar for the fact that I don't know if I've... There we go, it'll do. And I'm thinking along the lines, oh crap, it's going to take forever. So I think, give me 1 second, but I have a can of marking. That's a pleasant noise, eh? So, this stuff is utter rubbish, I must tell you. But as needs must, my friend, as needs must. So I'm just going to mark out the grind lines. Now I must be honest, I do cheat a little bit because even though I freehand even though I freehand sort of, you know, all the finishing edges and everything else, and probably from about 3/4 of the way down, when I want to just hog material, I slot this onto a jig and I can just go side to side, especially in the beginning here where I'm literally just hogging off material, you know, in the extreme. I really don't feel the need to worry about the heat on my fingers and all the other crap. So I'm going to slot this on a jig, which you'll see now, and I'm going to do the 45s onto the sort of within 1 millimeter. So you'll see I'm going to mark down the center line over here. I'm now at about 6.8 mils, and I'm kind of happy with that. I'm going to mark down my center line, and then I'm going to sort of come in at a 45 degrees so that I can work my way back towards the spine on the grind. And I have done this the other way around so often that it is absolutely frightening. And I can tell you what, I'll probably give myself about 40% more work. So if that's one thing I could say, you know, stick to that as a basic, I can do it. Trust me, you're going to kill yourself otherwise.
So, a couple of useful hints. When you are breaking in that first bevel, you know, to get to your 45 on your blade, sometimes instead of going across and hitting your belt, just right, so let's begin. Let's get it done with. I'm not really worried about how hot I get this blade at all because I haven't heat done it with the heat treat, so basically just a meal. So yeah, if it gets hot, I'm not too fussed. It may warp a little bit because of that, but you'll just as it comes along. But just put it in a bit different. Right. Okay. Exciting. A couple more passes. And now I can switch it around and go to the other side. Here's an interesting hint. I don't know if anyone else has found this. I hope I'm not shouting. Let me just turn my golf off. Oh, what do you mean golf? It's another fucking ad. Anyway,
So I used to find a lot of the time, you've always got a dominant hand, and I would find myself grinding just one bevel would be almost rounded, you know, going up towards the spine, and the other one would be almost flat up. And I also realized, even like with things like the jig, is if you don't place the spine of the knife on this, if you've got 2 bolts on your jig, for example, and you're placing the spine down like that, I don't know if anyone else finds this, but if I don't place the spine down in exactly the same points where it contacts the knife, I get a variation on the grind. I'm not sure what it is. Could just be my jig. Could be me. Let me know if someone has an idea of what the fuck's going on. And by the way, when you do grind steel, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but sometimes I get excited and want to grab it and then, you know, change it around. I've learned subsequently to just let it sit for a moment, because if it's not ready, it doesn't mean it ain't fucking hot.
Yeah, try that again.
To find a way of making this thing quieter. You'll see I've left myself sort of about, I would say about 1.5 millimeters in the center. Lots of room to play with, also for the heat treat. I'm probably going to do a little bit further up towards the spine because there's a hell of a lot of material. So I'm not too worried about a warp in the heat treat. Mind you, it's fucking mosaic Damascus. Who knows what's going to happen? And I don't, certainly, because I've never done it before, so that was a bit blasé. So yeah, I'm going to still take off a fair amount of material. I'm not going to bore you with the noise and everything else, but I'll show you towards when I'm taking it down there, and then we'll do the heat treat. But yeah, things are moving on quite quickly. I mean, we should be able to do this in one video. I think I may have told a fib. I think we'll have to do this in 2 videos or 3. Yeah, it's a lot of fucking stuff to do. So I hope you're enjoying this. I haven't told a really good joke that's going to offend people. I'll come up with 2 in the next one. Yeah, please like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff that you do with YouTube. You can find me on Instagram under David Moore Knives. Anyway, I will find a way to put a link in that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, we'll see you in part 2.